Toy Design Co. presents real people, real stories, your inspiration. You're watching Raven Maven.
Welcome back to another episode of Raven Maven, and this is episode 12. We're back from a little hiatus, and I have my good friend, entrepreneur, the talented, the magnificent, Iya Thomas.
Hey guys!
And she is the owner, or the founder of Shapely Events, which is a really cool platform for plus size men and women. And let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about how you founded Shapely Events and what was your inspiration to starting it.
So in 2012, I did a Google search and found out about this cruise for plus size people, and I went on and everybody's telling me, oh, this whole world of events and things like that. But to find out the information about these events, you have to join all these Facebook groups, and with those groups came a lot of unwanted stuff.
Right.
So it became kind of cumbersome trying to navigate through the information I didn't want just to find the information that I wanted. And you had a directory for Caribbean parties, and I was like, wow, wouldn't that be cool for plus size people?
Right.
Because I don't think I'm the only one who didn't like the static in all the groups, or having to join 30 groups to find out about all the different parties. So I was like, okay, now I need a name. And my parents are West Indian, and growing up, they always referred to me as shapely, plus size equals shapely. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So got the shapely part and the events part, and boom, Shapely Events was born.
So when you started Shapely Events, do you think, how was it received? Do you think it was well received, or do you feel like you had a hard time just establishing to people what exactly you do and what it is?
I think I had a very hard time because one, it was new. There wasn't really anything like it per se.
Right.
And then two, I think to be successful on a certain level, you have to be selling fashion or body.
Right.
When it comes to plus size industry and things like that. And I was selling neither. I just wanted to point people in the right direction. And even with the group owners and stuff, they were all about, let me see your numbers. I want to see your numbers. I don't want to pay the $12 to advertise on your site until I see your numbers. And I'm first starting, my numbers aren't
high.
Great.
Yeah.
So it was a hard push to sell, but there were some who were instrumental in validating what Shapely Events was, Amy of Plus Dimensions, my friends Yancy, Kevin, Sharon, all those people. They really
shout out to Sharon.
So Team Thick, also Novella. I remember my first 500, I think, Facebook page likes were because of Novella of Team Thick.
Wow.
And DJ Ox, who I highlight in a lot of my videos as well. He helped with a lot of that. So I definitely had some naysayers, but I think for every naysayer, I had someone of equal importance standing up for me, and I think that's what gave me the push that I needed. Yeah.
The time that it took you to establish the brand in social media, do you think you've acquired a tremendous following, and in a way that is people who's really engaged with what Shapely Events is all about?
I say yes, and I say yes because it's organic.
Right.
You could acquire any kind of following overnight if you're willing to pay for it.
Right.
But I think it takes a lot of work to grow your brand organically, and that's the use of hashtags, the use of content, the use of everything, trying to figure that out, learning the science and the algorithms and everything else. It was very, very cumbersome. And it took a lot of time, but, we got it done, and slowly but surely we grew. And, I still don't think I'm at the max potential, but just to know that I'm not selling fashion, I'm not selling body, I'm trying to highlight body positivity and plus size events. So for me to grow to where we are now, it's a proud accomplishment of mine.
Right. Where do you see Shapely Events becoming, I guess, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, right now we kind of serve as a resource for the consumer.
Right.
And in the next 3 to 5 years, I hope to be a resource for companies.
For other
So
brands.
if people want to speak to us, I would like them to reach out to us and find out how we like to be spoken to.
Right.
What works for us, what may be insulting or offensive versus what we may be receptive to.
Right. And when you say us, who are you saying?
The plus size person.
Right.
Somebody who, and when I say plus size, I want to stress body positive, because you don't always have to be a size 12 or deemed plus size to have body positive issues.
Right.
So just somebody who embraces their imperfections, their flaws, or whatever the case may be, or who wants to learn to do so. Find out how to speak to us. Find out what would make us want your brand or engage in your whatever it is you're selling. So.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about, the events that you guys, since you guys are like a one-stop resource for what's happening, what's going on, the pipeline, what do you think is a misconception for people who are now just getting into, that scene? They want to go to bashes, they want to go to, a day party, or it could be a paint night, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the biggest misconception is that it's like a hookup fest.
Okay.
So, like, you're just going there to meet people or do things right, trying to be, PG about it. But I think that's the biggest misconception. And from my experience, I mean, yes, you could do that in any function. It doesn't have to be a plus size event. It doesn't have to be geared toward body positivity. You could do that anywhere. However, like, some of the most, I think, instrumental relationships I have in my life right now, I have forged from attending those events.
Right.
So.
Do you think that your brand Shapely Events has set itself apart in in the industry? All these promoters who are throwing events, or some of the people that you've had a chance to work with, like, have you set yourself apart where people know that you're a trustworthy place and a positive brand, that they could confide in and know that they can find something to do where it's not over sexualized, or
I think so, and I think we highlight all the other aspects of what you would find there, because like I said, those things you will find anywhere, in any subgroup, any large group, any society, you find it. But I think our validation came from providing an accurate description of everything else that goes on there also.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that this doesn't happen, you're not going to find whatever it is you're looking for.
Right.
But we're saying that while you're there, you can also do this too. You can also meet some amazing people from some amazing places that you wouldn't otherwise meet them because they live in Vegas or they live in Seattle or whatever the case may be. So I think people have turned to us, or people have stopped and said, I love just being able to go straight to the information.
Right.
I love that I was able to put these groups on mute and I was still able to find out what was going on in my area, or find out about a cruise or whatever the case may be. So
with that also being said, I guess what was like your biggest struggle when you were now getting started with it?
Getting people to actually want to pay the $12 to list their event. And people may think this is funny, but people just didn't want to pay $12.
Right.
And in my mind, I'm like, this is what people spend on lunch.
Right.
Like, this is what and even when I would do the promotions when I first started, I would discount it to like $6. And like, they just wanted this.
They didn't see the value.
No, they wanted this full PowerPoint presentation on why I should be receiving their $6.
But do you think that's fair because you were just starting? Like, you were never heard of this. Is like, so you're offering this service.
I think it's fair in a sense. However, I do think if it was something else, that $6 would have been easily removed from their hands.
True. Yeah.
So
you can spend $6 on coffee.
Right. So it's like, when they didn't see the value in the service, and I don't think they believed in what Shapely Events was about or could do for their business.
Right.
So.
Boy, did you prove them wrong. Yes. Now you have 2.2K followers on YouTube.
Yes.
And that was after dropping this really cinematic review video for the Cocoa
Beach Bash.
Beach Bash. So were you really like surprised that that video did so well?
Surprised
you found the formula?
Isn't the word. So I have all these ideas, and my mind is just an overflow of ideas, and sometimes I don't
This
have.
is why we're friends.
Right. I don't have an output for these ideas, and when I do find one, it's like output overload. It's like everything is everywhere.
Right.
But this one, I think for the first time, I had like a clear, concise kind of image of what I wanted to do, and we spoke about it, and I'm like, Latoya, I know exactly how I want to cut it. I know exactly how I'm gonna get people to do the 8 count. I know exactly how I want people to pull up, and when it first dropped, I was just praying for like 200 views, and then I'm like, wait, 200, 2,000. Then I see ads, and I'm just like, and then 200,000, 400,000, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
And then
that's a milestone.
Yes, and then everybody just started going through all my other content, and they started seeing what else we had to offer, and people started reaching out. It was just so amazing because I think it was one of the first time, cinematically speaking, that I was able to take all the stuff that I have in my head and really spit it out and have it mean something.
Right.
So.
Do you plan to do more like cinematic features like that?
Yes. So I recently came back from the Hotlanta Bash, and we did something similar. I stuck to the Jeep Wrangler because that's like a thing now.
Shout out Jeep Wrangler.
Yes.
We need some ad money.
Yes, we do. Because we piled that car up. So we did something similar, and we did like a reel of highlights and things like that. And it's funny because now that people saw the first one, so many people wanted to be part of the second one, but you can't take everybody, you know. So I made it a point to take people who believed in when there wasn't a video to watch.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That was awesome. I'm just so stoked because I remember sitting there like, 2,000.
Watching it happen.
Yeah, and I'm like 200,000. I'm like, who are these people? Where are they from? Like, so and now we're like, I think 14,000 short of 500K. We're like 486. Wow. 486.
So, in a couple of days.
Yes.
Now with this video, you might get to get them other.
Look, I'm not praying for 100 anymore. Like, so. Yes, it's and just what it has done for like all my social media outlets, I think, and the validity of Shapely Events and what it could bring to your bash. Right. Because I don't think people really saw the value in the $12, and now
they see the value.
In the $12.
Because you did the work, and you proved the validity of your brand. You proved that Shapely Events is a resource. Yes. So look at her now. So, I guess what I really want to know is how do you navigate, running Shapely Events, because you still have a 9-to-5 job. Mm-hmm. So how do you manage both things? Because I'm pretty sure.
I think multitasking is my strong suit. It's hard. I think multitasking, time management. I think one thing you taught me that's instrumental is automating things and scheduling. Right. That has become a priceless tool. But it's hard, and I would say learning to balance and knowing what I need to do when. Right. And sometimes you have to be realistic and say it's not all gonna get done. Right. Because at the end of the day, like, people still have real bills, have real mortgage, and those things need to be paid. And also, I think it's important to have a good circle. Yeah. And I thank God for my circle every day. I thank God for you, Sharon, Yancy, Kev, Chris, Brooks, like everybody, Amy, Team. I thank God for all these people, because these are people that when I go to a destination or travel to somewhere, I lean on. Right. And I really can't do it without them. And just having a good support team is just instrumental. Right.
Like in the beginning of forming Shapely Events, I know I was part of it. Were there other people that you feel added to Shapely Events in a way that it kind of like helped refine what it was going to be, the vision?
I think I always say this, but I think if it really wasn't for Yancey,
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like insulting or anything when I say this, but I definitely think that where he goes, like, people follow in a sense.
Right. He's an influencer.
He's an influencer,
Right,
yeah. So
yeah.
him lending his influence, his image, his time, his effort to my brand was instrumental. Because even when we did Fatty Friendly Day of Fitness and certain things we would do, the Rock Your Roll seminars, he sat on my panel. Chris did as well. It was just, it was paramount to getting people to, because, you know, first they see the product, then they open the box.
Right.
So once they got to open the box and see that it was just more than pretty packaging,
Right.
I think that helped. But the packaging definitely got them to look.
Pay
So
attention,
yes.
right.
So.
What do you think? Not what do I think? I would definitely say, as far as the body positivity,
Mm-hmm.
image and imagery, and your whole commitment to that mission. With Rock Your Rolls, for example, that whole campaign and the clothing,
Mm-hmm.
where do you see you taking that even further? Because, you know, you make a killing.
Yeah.
You're selling your T-shirts. So how do you feel you can, like, elevate the messaging even more, since it's well received, you know?
Well, to me, I think I want it to be more like a lifestyle.
Right.
I think sometimes we're just so self-conscious about
Right.
who we are, what we have. Like, even this shirt in the back, you know, I was talking about it. I was like, it blew open. I was like, they're going to see every stretch mark and every road today, because, you know, I don't care. And it's also for people to, like, build you up, because this, as confident as people perceive me to be and as body positive that I am, there's certain things that I will not wear.
Right.
Like, and I just like, no, I already know. And then my friend Sharon is just like, you're gonna try it on and it's gonna look nice. Try it on, it looks nice, and I'll be like, oh, I can do this?
Yeah.
I never thought I could do like a halter top. I think in Atlanta was the first time in my life I like stood in the mirror and I almost wanted to cry. I was like, I didn't think I could wear one of these. So to me, I just want it to be more than something you put on your shirt. I want it to be like a mindset that you walk around with.
Like an attitude.
And yes,
Yeah.
and it's not for, I mean, you could take it and manifest it into any way you want, but it's not for you to just be tasteless either.
Right.
Because that could go so left so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, and even in that, there's a sense of fearlessness and confidence. So
Right.
I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
However, to me, I just want it to be more of an attitude, like, this is me right now as I am. I'm still going to love myself or whatever. I may want to fix certain things, which I will work on when I get to it, depending on how important it is to me. However, as I am right now and presenting myself to the world, I love it, and because I do, you're going to love it too.
Right. Do you think, and there was anything in particular that, like, led you down this direction, as far as, because you seem to always, all the time I've known you, you try so many different ideas. So, like, how did you know that Shapely Events was the idea that finally, like, was going to work?
I saw the need.
Okay.
I think I'm really good at identifying needs.
Yes.
Or problems. I might not always know how to solve every one of them, but I always take a stab at it.
Right.
I feel that so many things, like so many businesses, I feel that, but I was just like, okay, this doesn't work. Let me try something else. Or for whatever reason, it just didn't pop.
Right.
But to me, like, everything aligned.
Yeah.
The demand was there. I had the ability to supply it. The audience was there. I think technology and sites like Squarespace, Wix, like, it just makes it so easy for us to put our ideas and our goods and everything out. So that made it easier as well. So just doing that, I was able to fill that void or that gap and give the people a tool they can use.
Are there, would you have any advice for people who are trying to, you know, start something or find that thing that they want to do, just take a stab at entrepreneurship?
One, don't quit your day job because you have a good idea. Like, everything you might be passionate about might not be a profession for you. Trust me, I've tried a lot. To do it.
Right.
Start it if you can. I think the most it would take is some of your time, probably some of your money, which you can make back because you didn't quit your day job. And start it. And if it doesn't work, find out why.
Right.
If you can fix it, fix it. And if it's unfixable, then move on.
Right.
So
know when to call it quits.
Right.
Yeah.
So and it's not easy.
Yeah.
However, there are resources that make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So LegalZoom. You got an idea, brand it, secure it. You know, because there's copycats. You know, not knocking anything or whatever. That's the reality of the situation. So where something used to take $5,000 now takes $500.
Yeah.
So if you believe in your brand that much, then do it. Like Rock Your Rolls. I think I thought of the idea like 2 days, and after 2 days, I was like, I really should trademark this.
Right.
I had that feeling, and I didn't want to because I'm just like, oh, the cost or whatever. But you got to believe in the brand, and I felt like I had something special, so I did. And as it turns out, you know, there were people that actually looked up the trademark because I think they wanted to put that on their clothes, and there had to be times I was like, excuse me, like, this is a trademark saying. So it's not easy, but it's easier.
Right.
So
what can we expect for you in the rest of this year and maybe possibly next year?
Well, you could expect a whole lot more like video, media, content things going on because that's really become like a joy of mine. I think people hear about it, but people need to see it.
Yeah.
And the things people hear about, I think we need to show them what else there is to it.
Right.
So if you think about a bash and you're like, oh, I don't want to go da-da-da, but then you see, oh, look at all the fun they're having at the Flip Cup. Look at everybody just in the pool chilling, da-da-da-da. That sticks in your head, and that's what you remember. So like I said, yeah, there's those negative connotations, but look at all the positive things that come from it too.
For me, like looking at Shapely events, I realized that a lot of people finally see, especially being a plus size person or a curvy woman myself, like what I love is that you show people that they could do anything like what is considered a normal size person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what since you've been running Shapely events, or like probably your most favorite moments where you feel like that was definitely seen and like absorbed and accepted, you know?
Going to Jamaica with BBW Travels. Hi, Jean. Going to Jamaica with BBW Travels. We went to Rick's Cafe, and there were people. I don't know if people know how high the highest cliff is, but there were people, I would say upwards of 300 pounds, like jumping off these cliffs, or just on, and we were so adventurous, like ATVing, like it was really like big people can. You know, we can do anything.
Right.
You guys can do. I mean, there may be some modifications.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, but the sense of adventure doesn't die. Because
right.
I'm a very adventurous person by nature. You know, so I like ATVing. I like zip lining. I like all that stuff. But so easily we become discouraged.
People think they can't do it because of their size.
At first it was like, what's the weight limit? What's the weight limit? So I just recommend when you travel places and stuff like that, you call ahead, tell them what it is to expect so they can make those accommodations. Because you can go parasailing.
Right.
You might not be able to go in tandem like with somebody else, but you can go. I've been parasailing.
Right.
I've been doing all these things, and it's like you can. Big people can.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Big people can.
Yes. So do it.
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because I just recently took my girls to Splish Splash, and I never I haven't been to a park in a while, so I noticed these signs. There was like, this ride was engineered for a certain weight capacity, and I was sitting there really,
those signs.
and I was like really like sitting there like thinking, how much do I weigh?
Yeah.
And then with my daughter, add that together because because like it's designed a certain way, and if you weigh too much, you could possibly risk. They tell you're at risk of getting injured.
Girl, I got stuck on a split splash ride, dead in the water. Like me and my cousin got on it. She got a little chunky, and it was the thing with a tube. You dive in, and the tube goes like that. And we literally had to like scoot ourselves out,
yeah,
because the water pressure wasn't enough to hold
the
both
weight.
of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's like, I know these stories.
Yeah. Shit, both of us shouldn't have got on.
You should have got a lighter person.
Yes,
and then that would have been fine.
Right. But that goes back to what I said. We can still do it.
Do it right. Yeah.
With a modification, but when I see those signs, I cringe.
Right.
A little too. It's just like.
Do you feel like with Shapely Events, and even though it's body tip, like, do you get from people that you're supporting unhealthy lifestyle because you're plus size?
I get called all kinds of things, and even under the videos, people would make very negative comments.
Yeah.
However, when you put content on a public forum, you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Right? However, I like to highlight that you could be body positive without supporting a negative lifestyle.
Right.
Because body positive doesn't mean that I'm encouraging you to just disregard your health or whatever. Body positive means I'm encouraging you to love yourself.
Right.
And even people who aren't deemed plus size have issues with that.
Right.
People who have eating anorexia and stuff, those people are not plus size or big, but they still have body issues. Yeah, so they could be a little bit more body positive too. So it's not a matter of reinforcing a negative lifestyle. And I do things that are like conducive to a more fatty friendly day of fitness. Just different things at different events, workshops, cooking, tips, sharing things like you can eat this instead of that. So people tend to like confuse the two.
Right.
So you can be body positive without supporting an unhealthy lifestyle. Body positive just is loving yourself at where you are right now.
Right.
So
love yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
But the comments, I read those comments.
Do you feel like you ever really been like attacked though, like on social media?
Yeah. People, woo. I've had people on my last video. I think somebody was like, "Oh, the girl in the purple," which was me. She was like, "Oh, she's cute. She just needs to lose weight."
Right.
Or it's like, "Look at all that lard running across the screen."
Oh my
like
gosh.
I'm talking about total disrespectful. I was just like, "But you still watched it."
You was watching that lard running across the street and
yes,
zip lining.
Yes, he was. So whatever it is, and sometimes people feel the need to dim your light to make their shine brighter.
Try to,
And that's not always.
This light is big, honey.
So, and I don't know why, but if you still watch, so
thank you for the views.
Yes, but that's what it is. And like I said, when you put something on a public forum, that's just what's gonna happen. So,
all right. Well, I think that's it for me. But tell us when we can expect a new episode for Shapely TV, which is your great platform that you also have episodes on YouTube for.
I would say within the next month, we're dropping that. And it's funny that you asked about the healthy lifestyle too, because that's an issue that we want to touch on.
Right.
And we go in depth because of a lot of things that we see within that group community. So it's really touch on the health risk and health risk factors and just supporting each other through our journeys to become
healthier. Yeah. And that doesn't mean like a size limitation. That just means being healthy in general.
Or being more active.
Right.
Fatty Friendly Day of Fitness wasn't to have you lose 10 pounds that day. It was just to encourage you to be more active.
To be active,
that was it.
Right.
So within the next month or so, we'll definitely be dropping.
So tell our subscribers, or our viewers actually, where they could find Shapely Events.
On YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Shapely Events.
And the website?
www.shapelyevents.com.
And thank you for watching another episode of Raven Maven. Make sure that you follow us at toyadesignco.com. on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
And that's it.